How would it be for an NBA star at the peak of his career to reunite with his brother after 12 years? LeBron James experienced this, and everything changed. Before we continue with our story, I have a request. Following my channel is very important to me. If you follow me, it will motivate me a lot. Thank you in advance. Enjoy the show. LeBron James has a brother he never talks about, Aaron McClelland Gamble. For 12 years, from 2003 to 2015, they never spoke. Not a single word, not a phone call, not a text message, nothing. But when they reunited in a Miami hotel room in 2015, Aaron told LeBron something that would explain decisions nobody understood, why LeBron returned to Cleveland, why he played the 2016 finals like a man possessed, why he spent millions on community programs in Akron that most superstars would never consider. Because that night, Aaron revealed a truth about their family that Gloria had never told LeBron, a truth that would change everything. But to understand that night in 2015, you have to go back to where it all started, to a truth that's been hidden for decades. 1987, Akron, Ohio. Gloria James was 16 years old when she gave birth to LeBron on December 30th. Everyone knows this part of the story. The teenage mother, the absent father, the struggle, the poverty. It's been told and retold in every profile, every documentary, every biographical piece about LeBron James. What most people don't know is that 3 years later, in 1987, Gloria's life became even more complicated in a way she's never publicly discussed, in a way that would haunt her for the rest of her life. Gloria had a brief relationship with a man named Lester Bryce Stovall in the mid-1980s. The relationship was turbulent, unstable, and short-lived, lasting only a few months at most. Stovall was significantly older than Gloria, had a criminal record that included theft and assault, and wasn't someone who brought stability or safety to her already chaotic life. But relationships in poverty aren't always about choice or love. Sometimes they're about survival, about finding any kind of support system in a world that offers none, about not being completely alone when you're barely more than a child yourself raising a child. In 1987, when LeBron was just 3 years old and Gloria was finally starting to find her footing after years of extreme instability, she discovered she was pregnant again. But this time, the situation was fundamentally different from when she'd had LeBron. She was older, 20 now, instead of 16, but not more stable financially or emotionally. She was still struggling with the exact same problems that had plagued her since LeBron's birth. No steady income, no permanent housing, no reliable support system, no family safety net. And the father, Lester Stovall, made it crystal clear he wanted absolutely nothing to do with another child or any kind of parental responsibility. Gloria made a decision that would haunt her for the rest of her life, a decision that would shape both her sons' futures in ways she couldn't possibly imagine. She gave birth to a son, Aaron McClelland Gamble, on a cold day in March 1987, and within just a few weeks of his birth, she made an arrangement for him to be raised by her friend Tanisha in another part of Akron. It wasn't a formal adoption with lawyers and paperwork. It wasn't legal or officially documented anywhere. It was just an understanding between two struggling women trying to survive. Tanisha would raise Aaron as her own, giving him the stability of her household, and Gloria would focus all her limited energy and resources on trying to give LeBron a chance at a better life, a chance at escaping the cycle of poverty that had trapped her. Gloria never told LeBron about Aaron. Not when he was 3 years old and wouldn't have understood anyway. Not when he was 9 and they were homeless together, moving from couch to couch, apartment to apartment, struggling to survive. Not when he was in high school becoming a basketball phenomenon, when Sports Illustrated put him on their cover and called him the chosen one. Not when he was drafted first overall to the NBA in 2003, signing contracts worth tens of millions of dollars. She kept the secret locked away, buried under layers of shame and guilt, and the desperate rationalization that she'd made the only choice she could make at the time, that she'd done what was necessary for both boys to have any chance at all. But secrets don't stay buried forever, especially not when one brother becomes the most famous athlete in the world, and the other is left wondering why he wasn't worth keeping. Wait. Because Aaron's childhood explains why their eventual reunion would be so complicated, so painful, and so transformative for both of them. Aaron McClelland Gamble grew up in Akron, just like LeBron. Same city, same streets, same struggling neighborhoods. But his Akron was different in every way that mattered. While LeBron was being raised by Gloria with all her struggles but also all her fierce love and protection, with her constant reassurance that he was special and destined for greatness, Aaron was growing up in a household that barely had the resources for the children already there. Tanisha did her best. She genuinely tried to give Aaron a good life, but she had 3 biological kids of her own to feed and clothe and worry about. Aaron was always the extra one, the one who came from somewhere else, the one whose story didn't quite make sense to neighbors and teachers who asked questions. As Aaron got older, as he became more aware and started asking difficult questions about his origins, Tanisha told him the truth, or at least part of it. She told him his biological mother was Gloria James, but that Gloria hadn't been able to raise him for reasons Tanisha didn't fully explain. She didn't tell him he had a brother who was 3 years older. Not at first. That information came later, and it came from the most painful source possible, the television.
Imagine being 9 years old in 1996, sitting in a living room in Akron, watching local news coverage of youth sports, and seeing a kid who looks exactly like you being celebrated as a basketball prodigy.
Imagine hearing the name LeBron James, and the commentator enthusiastically saying, raised by his mother Gloria James in Akron. Imagine the confusion, then the slow dawning realization, then the devastating understanding that the mother who gave you away kept another son, that she chose him over you. Imagine what that does to a child's understanding of their own worth, their own value as a human being. Aaron asked Tanisha about it directly. He couldn't ignore what he'd seen, couldn't pretend he hadn't noticed the resemblance, couldn't shake the feeling in his gut. Is LeBron my brother? Is Gloria James my real mum? Tanisha didn't know how to answer. She was caught between loyalty to Gloria and honesty to Aaron. She called Gloria that night, her voice shaking, and told her that Aaron had figured it out. Gloria begged her not to confirm it, not to tell Aaron the full truth. He's doing so well with basketball, Gloria said, her voice desperate and pleading on the phone. If this comes out, if this becomes public, it'll destroy his focus, it'll derail everything we've worked for. Please, just wait. When the time is right, I'll tell him. I promise I'll tell both of them. Just not yet. But the right time never came. As LeBron's fame grew, as Sports Illustrated put him on the cover while he was still in high school, as he became a national phenomenon covered by ESPN and every major sports network, as he was drafted first overall in 2003 to massive fanfare, Gloria's shame grew proportionally with his success. How do you tell your son, who's about to sign a $90 million Nike contract before playing a single NBA game, that you gave away his brother because you didn't think you could handle raising both? How do you explain that you chose one child over another? How do you admit that you made a choice that now seems unforgivable? So she didn't. She stayed silent. She buried the secret deeper, and Aaron watched his brother become a superstar while he struggled through a completely different life in the same city. Aaron's teenage years were difficult in ways that LeBron's never were, despite all of LeBron's well-documented struggles with homelessness and poverty, because at least LeBron had Gloria's unconditional love. At least LeBron knew, with absolute certainty, that he mattered to someone. At least LeBron had a person who believed he was special, who told him every day that he was destined for greatness, who sacrificed everything for his success. Aaron grew up knowing he'd been given away, knowing he had a famous brother who didn't even know he existed, feeling in his bones like he'd been deemed not good enough to keep, not worth the effort, not valuable enough to fight for. By the time Aaron was 16 in 2003, the same year LeBron was drafted with massive fanfare and media coverage, he'd already had multiple run-ins with the law. Small stuff at first, shoplifting from convenience stores, trespassing in abandoned buildings, fights at school that resulted in suspensions. The kind of trouble that kids in poverty often find themselves in when they're angry at the world and don't know how to express that anger in healthy ways, when they don't have positive role models or support systems. He dropped out of high school in his junior year, deciding that education was pointless when his life seemed to have no trajectory anyway. Started hanging around people who were involved in drugs and small-time theft operations. Made choices that came from a place of deep pain and abandonment, from a hole inside him that nothing seemed to fill, and through it all, he watched LeBron on TV, watched him succeed spectacularly, watched him talk about his mother Gloria in interviews with such visible love and gratitude, calling her his hero, his inspiration, his everything, watched him sign endorsement deals worth millions, watched him become everything Aaron wasn't and could never be. The resentment grew like a cancer, not just toward LeBron. Aaron understood intellectually that LeBron didn't know, couldn't know about his existence, that LeBron was innocent in all this, but toward Gloria, toward a system that had failed him, toward a world where some kids get chances and support and opportunities, and others don't, and sometimes the difference is just random chance, just luck, just a roll of the dice that determines everything about how your life unfolds. Hold on, because what happened in 2003 almost brought this secret into the public light, and it would have changed both brothers' lives forever. June 26, 2003, NBA Draft Night. Lester Bryce Stovall, Aaron's biological father who'd been absent for his entire life, suddenly reappeared with a lawsuit. He filed a paternity suit claiming that he, not Anthony McClelland, who was generally believed to be LeBron's father, was actually LeBron's biological father, and if that was true, Stovall argued, he deserved a portion of LeBron's earnings. The lawsuit made immediate headlines across sports media. ESPN covered it extensively. Sports Illustrated wrote about it. Every major news outlet wanted to know, was this just a transparent money grab from a deadbeat trying to cash in on LeBron's sudden wealth and fame, or was there actual truth to Stovall's claims? The timing seemed suspiciously convenient. Stovall had been absent for LeBron's entire life but suddenly appeared the moment LeBron was worth millions. what nobody reported at the time, what got completely lost in all the noise and sensationalism about the paternity lawsuit, was that Stovall was definitely, provably the father of Gloria's other son, Aaron. And during the legal proceedings, during the discovery process where lawyers exchanged documents and information, Aaron's existence briefly surfaced in court documents. His name appeared, his birth certificate was referenced. For a brief moment, the secret was right there in black and white, available to anyone who looked closely enough at the legal filings. But Gloria's lawyers, recognizing the potential for scandal and media-feeding frenzy, worked quickly and aggressively to keep that information sealed from public view. They argued convincingly that Aaron's existence wasn't relevant to the paternity case about LeBron, that revealing information about Gloria's other child would constitute an invasion of privacy for a minor who had nothing to do with Stovall's claims about LeBron. The judge agreed and sealed those portions of the court documents. The DNA test came back negative. Stovall was definitively not LeBron's father. The lawsuit was dismissed with prejudice. Sports media moved on to the next story, to LeBron's rookie season and his immediate impact on the league. And the secret of Aaron's existence stayed buried, hidden in sealed court documents that nobody except a handful of lawyers and judges would ever see. But Aaron saw the lawsuit play out in real time. Saw his biological father, a man he'd never met, a man who'd never paid $1 of child support or shown a moment of interest in his life, trying to get money from LeBron by claiming paternity. Saw the whole circus play out across television and newspapers and sports talk radio. And it confirmed something Aaron had always suspected deep in his bones, in his family. Everything revolved around LeBron. LeBron was the golden child, the one worth fighting for, worth claiming, worth pursuing. Aaron was just the forgotten one, the one not worth anyone's time or effort. He tried to reach out once after the lawsuit ended. In late 2004, when LeBron was in his second NBA season, Aaron somehow got a phone number for someone in LeBron's extended circle, a distant cousin or family friend whose name he'd heard mentioned. He called and left a voicemail message, his voice shaking. "Tell LeBron he has a brother. My name is Aaron. Tell him Aaron wants to talk to him. Tell him it's important. Tell him we're family." The message never reached LeBron, or if it did somehow get passed along, it was filtered out by people whose job was to protect LeBron from the constant stream of random people claiming to be relatives or having some connection to him, a common and persistent problem for newly famous athletes who suddenly have money. Either way, there was no response, no callback, no acknowledgement, and Aaron took that silence as confirmation of what he'd always feared. Even if LeBron somehow knew about him, he didn't care. LeBron had his life, his success, his family, and there was no room in that perfect picture for an inconvenient secret brother. The years passed with painful slowness. LeBron's career skyrocketed to heights few athletes ever reach. Aaron's life spiraled downward in ways that seemed almost predetermined. By 2010, Aaron had been in and out of jail multiple times, nothing violent or serious, but theft charges, drug possession, probation violations, the kind of repetitive low-level crimes that trap people in cycles they can't escape. He was living in Cleveland by then, ironically in the same city where LeBron played for the Cavaliers, but they might as well have been on different planets, existing in parallel universes that never touched. And then came the decision, in 2010, that infamous ESPN special where LeBron announced he was leaving Cleveland for Miami. And Aaron, watching it on a TV in a friend's rundown apartment, felt something unexpected, a strange kind of kinship with his brother for the first time. Because in some way, LeBron had been rejected too. The whole city turned viciously on him. Fans burned his jersey in the streets. The team owner wrote a scathing public letter. People who'd loved him suddenly hated him. "Now he knows how it feels," Aaron said bitterly to his friend that night, staring at the TV screen. "Now he knows what it's like when people decide you're not worth keeping, when they turn their back on you." But that moment of bitter satisfaction faded quickly, replaced by the same emptiness that always returned. Because even with all the criticism, even with all the hatred directed at him, LeBron was still LeBron, still successful beyond measure, still had everything, still had Gloria's love and support. And Aaron still had nothing but anger and resentment and a life that seemed to lead nowhere. Wait, because what happened in 2013 changed everything and set up their eventual meeting in a way nobody could have predicted. 2013, Cleveland. Gloria James did something unexpected. After years of keeping the secret, after years of shame and fear, she reached out to Tanisha. They met at a diner in Akron, the same diner where Gloria used to work overnight shifts in the 1990s. "How is he?" Gloria asked, her coffee untouched in front of her. "Aaron, he's struggling," Tanisha said honestly. "Been in trouble, can't keep a job, angry at the world." Does he hate me? He doesn't know you well enough to hate you, Gloria. But yeah, he's angry. And he asks about LeBron sometimes. Asks why you kept one and not the other." Gloria started crying in that booth. "I was 20 years old. I was homeless with LeBron. I couldn't handle another baby. I thought I was doing what was best for everyone." "Maybe you were," Tanisha said, not unkindly. "But Aaron deserves to know the truth. and LeBron deserves to know he has a brother. If this comes out, it'll destroy LeBron's image. The media will tear our family apart. Your family is already apart, Gloria. Has been for 26 years. That conversation haunted Gloria. She started thinking about telling LeBron, started imagining how that conversation would go. But every time she got close, fear stopped her. Fear of LeBron's anger, fear of public humiliation, fear that revealing this secret would prove what she'd always suspected about herself, that she was a terrible mother who'd made an unforgivable choice. But in 2014, something happened that forced her hand. LeBron decided to return to Cleveland. He was leaving Miami after winning 2 championships, going back to the city that had burned his jersey 4 years earlier. And part of his reasoning, as he explained in his Sports Illustrated letter, was about family, about roots, about home. Gloria read that letter and felt like a hypocrite. LeBron was talking about family and home and belonging, and she'd kept his brother a secret for 27 years. How could she let him keep talking about family when she'd broken theirs apart? She decided to tell him, but before she could, Aaron made a decision of his own. 2015, Miami. Aaron McClelland Gamble had gotten his life somewhat together by 2015. He'd completed a court-ordered rehab program. He'd been sober for 8 months. He had a job at a warehouse in Cleveland. He wasn't thriving, but he was surviving, which was more than he could say for most of the previous decade. And he decided he needed to meet his brother, not for money, though he could have used it. Not for fame, he wanted nothing to do with cameras, but for answers, for closure, to look LeBron in the eye and ask the question that had haunted him for 28 years, why wasn't I good enough to keep? He saved money from his warehouse job, bought a bus ticket from Cleveland to Miami, found out where the Cavaliers were staying when they played the Heat, and on a cold February night in 2015, Aaron McClelland Gamble walked into a Miami hotel, somehow talked his way past security by claiming to be a cousin, and found himself face to face with his brother for the first time in their lives. LeBron was in the hotel gym, late-night workout after a game. He did this often, couldn't sleep after games, worked out alone to burn off adrenaline. He was on the treadmill when Aaron walked in. LeBron James, Aaron said, his voice shaking. LeBron looked up, immediately wary. Security was supposed to keep people out. Yeah? How did you get in here? My name is Aaron McClelland Gamble. I'm your brother. The treadmill kept running. LeBron stared at this stranger who looked oddly familiar. Same eyes, same jawline, something in the way he held himself that seemed like looking in a distorted mirror. I don't have a brother, LeBron said slowly. Yeah, you do. Your mother, our mother, gave me away when I was born. I'm 3 years younger than you. LeBron hit the emergency stop on the treadmill. Got off. The gym suddenly felt very small. What are you talking about? And Aaron told him everything. About Gloria and Lester Stovall, about being raised by Tanisha, about watching LeBron on TV and knowing they were brothers, about the paternity lawsuit in 2003, about all the years of watching LeBron succeed while he struggled, about the anger and the resentment and the desperate need to know why he hadn't been worth keeping. LeBron listened in complete silence. When Aaron finished, LeBron said just 3 words, call my mother. They went up to LeBron's hotel room. LeBron called Gloria, put her on speaker. Mom, I'm here with someone who says he's my brother. Aaron, is it true? The silence on the other end lasted so long that LeBron thought the call had dropped. Then Gloria's voice, small and broken. Yes, why didn't you tell me? I was ashamed. I thought I was protecting you. I thought you thought what? That I wouldn't understand. That I'd judge you. Mom, we were homeless together. I saw you struggle. I know what it was like. But you kept my brother from me for my entire life. Gloria was crying on the phone. I'm sorry. LeBron, I'm so sorry. LeBron looked at Aaron, this stranger who was his blood. We'll talk about this later, Mom. I need time. He hung up. The brothers sat in that hotel room for 3 hours. Aaron told LeBron about his life, the poverty, the crime, the jail time, the addiction, the constant feeling of not being good enough. LeBron told Aaron about his own struggles, about the homelessness, about the promise he'd made to take care of Gloria, about the pressure of carrying everyone's expectations. And slowly something shifted. The anger in Aaron's eyes softened. The confusion in LeBron's began to clear. I'm not asking for anything, Aaron finally said. I don't want your money. I don't want to be in the news. I just needed you to know I exist. You're my brother, LeBron said quietly. You should have always known you existed to me. This isn't your fault. It's not even Mom's fault, really. She was a kid making impossible choices, but you deserved better than what you got. So did you, Aaron replied. But at least you had Mom. I didn't even have that. LeBron made a decision in that moment. Where are you living? Cleveland. Got a place, small apartment. Stay in Cleveland. I'm going to help you. Not because I feel guilty, but because you're my brother. But I need you to stay clean. If you're in trouble, I can't help you until you're ready to help yourself. I've been sober 8 months. Then keep going. I'll set up a meeting with my financial people. We'll figure out a support system that works for you. But Aaron, LeBron looked at him directly. This stays private, not because I'm ashamed of you, but because the media will destroy both of us if this becomes a story. They'll make it about scandal and secrets and drama. I don't want that for you, and I don't want it for our mother. Aaron nodded. I don't want that either. I just wanted to know you. They talked through the night. LeBron missed his team's scheduled departure and had to take a later flight, but he didn't care, because something had clicked into place, something he hadn't even known was missing. He had a brother, but what Aaron told LeBron that night went deeper than just revealing his existence. He told LeBron something about their mother that changed how LeBron saw everything. When I was 14, Aaron said, I asked Tanusha why Mom kept you and not me. You know what she told me? LeBron shook his head. She said Mom flipped a coin. That Mom was so overwhelmed, so desperate, that she literally flipped a coin to decide which one of us she'd keep, and you won the coin flip. LeBron felt like he'd been punched. That can't be true. Tanusha swears it is. Said Mom told her that night, crying, saying it was the only way she could make the decision, because choosing was impossible. Whether it was literally true, or Tanusha's interpretation of Gloria's desperation, the impact was the same. LeBron had succeeded not because he was special or chosen, but because he was lucky. A coin flip. Heads or tails. Aaron could have been the one raised by Gloria, could have been the NBA superstar, and LeBron could have been the one given away. Everything I've accomplished, LeBron said slowly. Everything I've done, it was just chance. A coin flip. No, Aaron said firmly. You worked for everything. You earned it. But yeah, you got the opportunity because of luck. I don't blame you for that. But it means something, doesn't it? That it could have been either of us. It meant everything. It meant that LeBron's success wasn't just about his talent or work ethic or determination. It was about circumstance, about a teenage mother's impossible choice, about random chance determining everything. That realization would drive every decision LeBron made afterward. After that night in Miami, LeBron kept his word. He set Aaron up with financial advisors who helped him budget and save. He connected him with counselors and support groups. He paid for Aaron to go back to school to get his GED. He didn't give Aaron millions of dollars, that would have been destructive, but he gave him support and opportunity, and more importantly, he gave Aaron something he'd never had: family. They talked regularly, not every day, not even every week, but enough. LeBron invited Aaron to some private family events, introduced him to his kids as Uncle Aaron, made sure Aaron knew he mattered, but LeBron never told the public. He asked his inner circle to keep the secret, and they did. Because as Aaron had said, the media would turn it into a circus, and both brothers valued their privacy more than public acknowledgement. However, that 2015 revelation changed LeBron in ways nobody understood at the time. June 19, 2016, NBA Finals Game 7. Everyone remembers LeBron's performance that night. The block on Andre Iguodala, the intensity, the tears when the buzzer sounded, the raw emotion of bringing a championship to Cleveland. But what nobody knew was that Aaron was there. LeBron had gotten him a ticket, seated him in a corner where cameras wouldn't catch him, and before the game, in the locker room, LeBron had looked at a photo on his phone, the only photo he had of him and Aaron together, taken secretly during one of their meetings. This is for all of us, LeBron whispered to himself. For Mom, for Aaron, for everyone who got dealt a bad hand but kept fighting. The 2016 championship wasn't just about Cleveland, it was about overcoming odds, about proving that circumstances don't have to define outcomes, about showing that random chance might determine where you start, but dedication determines where you end up. After the championship, LeBron and Aaron talked on the phone. Aaron was crying. I'm proud of you, bro. So proud. Thank you for finding me, LeBron said. Thank you for being brave enough to show up that night in Miami. You've helped me more than you know. You've helped me more than you know. Before I met you, I thought everything I'd done was because I was special, because I worked harder than everyone. But you showed me it was also about luck, about opportunity, and that means I have a responsibility to create opportunities for others who didn't get that luck. That's why LeBron opened the I Promise School in 2018, not just as a publicity stunt or a tax write-off, but because he understood viscerally that kids who struggle aren't struggling because they're less talented or less determined. They're struggling because they lost a coin flip, because circumstances broke against them. Every kid in that school could have been Aaron, could have been him, could have been the one given away instead of kept. 2018, LeBron's decision to go to the Lakers. People wondered why LeBron left Cleveland again, why he went to Los Angeles. The public explanations were about his family wanting to live in LA, about business opportunities, about Hollywood. But part of the reason was Aaron. Living in Cleveland while being LeBron's secret brother had become difficult for Aaron. People in Akron talked. Rumors circulated. It was only a matter of time before someone connected the dots and the story broke publicly. Los Angeles offered distance, anonymity, a place where Aaron could build his life without being defined by his relationship to LeBron. So when LeBron moved to LA, he helped Aaron relocate too. got him a job through contacts, set him up in a small place, gave him space to be his own person. "This is better for both of us," LeBron told Aaron when explaining the decision. "You can be you there, not just my brother, and I can focus on basketball without worrying that every story about us will hurt you." Aaron agreed. He moved to Los Angeles in 2018, shortly after LeBron signed with the Lakers, and there, away from Akron and Cleveland and the weight of their shared history, Aaron finally found something resembling peace. He got a steady job in warehouse management, stayed sober, met someone, and started a relationship. Built a small, quiet life that had nothing to do with basketball or fame or LeBron James, and LeBron visited when he could. Quiet dinners, watching games together, being brothers in the way they should have been their whole lives. Today, in 2024, this secret remains mostly kept. Some people in LeBron's inner circle know. Gloria knows, of course, and carries the guilt still, though LeBron has told her repeatedly he forgives her. Savannah knows. LeBron's kids know they have an uncle who lives in LA, but is never in pictures or at public events. Aaron is 37 now, still sober, still working, living a quiet life that's remarkable only in its ordinariness. And he's okay with that, more than okay. "I used to be so angry," Aaron told LeBron during a recent visit, "that you got everything and I got nothing. But now I realize I got something you never had. Privacy, anonymity, the ability to be a regular person. You can't walk down the street without being mobbed. I can go anywhere, be anyone. That's worth more than I realized." "Would you trade places?" LeBron asked. Aaron thought about it. "No, I wouldn't. I've made peace with how things worked out. But I'm glad I get to know you now. Glad you're my brother, not just some famous person I watch on TV." And that's the real story of LeBron James and the brother nobody talks about. Not a scandal or a secret in the traditional sense, but a private family matter that reveals something profound about LeBron's character and motivations. Every time LeBron talks about giving back to Akron, about helping kids who come from nothing, about creating opportunities and building community, he's thinking about Aaron, about the coin flip, about how easily their positions could have been reversed. Every time he talks about family and loyalty and staying grounded despite success, he's thinking about the years he didn't know his brother existed, about what was lost, about what they're building now. And every time he makes a controversial decision that people don't understand, leaving Cleveland, joining the Lakers, speaking out on social issues, spending millions on schools and community programs, part of what drives him is the knowledge that his success was never guaranteed, that a different flip of a coin and he's Aaron, and Aaron is him. That's the truth Gloria revealed. That's the weight LeBron carries. That's the reason Aaron remains private, because some stories are too personal for public consumption. Some family matters are too sacred to become headlines. And sometimes, the most important relationships in someone's life are the ones nobody knows about. LeBron James has a brother. His name is Aaron McClelland Gamble. They didn't speak for 12 years, from 2003 to 2015. And when they finally met, in a Miami hotel gym on a February night, everything changed, not publicly, not dramatically, but quietly, profoundly, in ways that shaped LeBron's understanding of success, privilege, responsibility, and family. And maybe that's the most important part of LeBron's story. Not the championships, or the statistics, or the records, but the private recognition that circumstances matter, that luck matters, that a coin flip determines more than we want to admit, and that having been lucky, having won that coin flip, creates a responsibility to help those who didn't. That's what Aaron taught LeBron. That's what their reunion meant. That's what nobody knows, until now.